Hey everyone, welcome back to Retro Life for You, where we dive into the movies, TV, and pop culture that made growing up in the 80s and 90s so unforgettable. Today we're heading into the world of sci fi horror with a late 90s flick that blended robotics, alien intelligence, and a haunted ship setting, all with a surprisingly strong cast. That's right, we're not talking Ghost Ship, we're talking Virus from 1999. It had all the makings of a hit. It had Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Sutherland, creepy cyber organic creatures, and some seriously impressive practical effects. But somewhere along the line, Virus didn't quite connect with an audience, at least not at the time, anyway. I would say it had a little bit of trouble, Marty. I believe I told you before, Jamie Lee Curtis is quoted as saying this is, her worst movie she ever did. Matter of fact, she called it crap.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's like her worst movie. I mean, I've seen other like some stuff that her earlier career that I really didn't care for, but this movie, I don't know if it was just it could have been maybe a little bit downplay on the script or maybe story, but in my opinion, I liked the movie. I mean, it had a good uh, it had a good in between horror and science fiction. So
Yeah. Well, let's jump on in then, and we'll dissect this misunderstood mechanical monster of a movie then, and see what we can find out for
yeah,
everybody. Let's give the people a little description of this here movie. Virus was released in January of '99, directed by John Bruno, a longtime visual effects artist who worked on The Abyss, True Lies, and Terminator 2. The movie follows a salvage crew led by Captain Everton, played by Donald Sutherland, and Chief Engineer Kelly Foster, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. While stranded at sea during a typhoon, they discover a seemingly abandoned Russian research vessel. But as they soon learn, the ship is not empty and it's been taken over by an alien energy force. Uh, alien energy force. I don't know if I like wording it that way or not,
yeah,
But I mean, basically, when you're watching the beginning of the film, you see what looks like some space stuff going on, right?
hmm
And
and that's one of my favorite parts is literally the opening of the film where you see the Russian space station and it's orbiting the Earth, and then the research vessel and the cosmonaut is like talking to each other, and then it goes to the outside of the ship, and well, the orbiting the space station,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden you see this weird electrical cloud just moving right up on it, and then it just smacks right into it. And then I guess that's the basically the alien entity
yeah.
that's attacking the space station.
Basically, it describes it as an alien energy force transmitted through space that turns machinery and human flesh into horrific hybrid cyborgs. And when it goes through that ship, it's like it sends a signal down to the satellites of the ship
Hmm
where they're at out in deep sea and everything, and infects their system and takes over their system and everything. And then you find out just how bad it does. It takes over later on when small group of this small ship of people come in to like lay claim to what they found.
Yeah.
They were actually, if I'm not mistaken, they were towing in another ship, another cargo thing, which the captain bet his entire life on, more or less, and lost it during a storm. The thing holding it together with the ship broke off. I guess it sunk in the story. That's no longer there. So they think they're going to take this this Russian research vessel they found. They're going to claim it, and as long as nobody else is alive there, then there's a claim they can take it to. I forget the name of the place that we're going to take it to, but if as long as nobody else is
and
alive,
I think that's called like maritime law when
right?
there's a ship.
In
Yeah, when
maritime
there's
law,
an abandoned ship on the ocean, it's
right.
called maritime law.
Right. Well, it's in maritime law. I mean, you can if it's abandoned and there's nobody else on the ship, you can take it to like I don't know if it's like
Salvage.
international waters or something. You can salvage it for yourself, and then the Russian government would want to claim it, and you're entitled to about 10% of what the value of the worth of the ship. I think it was they said, which ended up being like 300 million or something along those lines, and they would get so much a piece out of it,
But could you imagine? Could you imagine what the movie would have been like if it hadn't have been a research vessel out on the sea, and it was like, say, basically the Russian space station had like shot the signal straight down on like land. I mean, the movie would have taken a whole different approach then.
Oh, I'm sure it would. No doubt about it at all. This movie is like The Thing meets Terminator, set on a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Because you think of The Thing taking over different things from person jumps from person to person, thing to thing, right? And then of course Terminator being like the cyborg thing that's built. It's a pretty decent description of this. I don't know if I call it a ghost ship as much as I would just that it's been taken over by the alien entity whenever everything's powered up. As long as the power's not on, I don't think there's much going on.
Yeah.
It's when they turn the power on.
But when they get aboard the ship, that's when they cut the power back on, and then all the machinery starts cranking back up, and then you see the where the metalworks factory is like right there. And then you see all these little machines running around on the ground, like putting stuff together. And so,
what do they look like? Little robotic spiders or something to you?
yeah, well, one of them, there was like a couple of them that looked like robotic spiders. And then there was like one thing that was like, looked like it had wings or something. It looked like a firefly or something, but yeah, like a dragonfly.
Yeah. Well, let's jump to some pre-production notes. Virus itself was based on a Dark Horse comic series of the same name, written by Chuck Farrer, Pfarrer, Pfarrer. I think it's Farrer.
Farrer, yeah.
The P is silent. Who also wrote the screenplay for it as well. He was a former Navy SEAL turned Hollywood screenwriter, best known for the movie Navy SEALs in 1990 and Hard Target in 1993. The movie had a long development process. Universal Pictures acquired the rights in the mid-90s and wanted to capitalize on the success of other sci-fi horror films like Event Horizon in 97. John Bruno, who had worked closely with James Cameron, was brought on board to direct his first feature film. Filming took place aboard real ships and massive water sets in Virginia and Florida. The production was notable for its practical effects. Hundreds of animatronics, robots, and prosthetics were built to bring the biomechanical creatures to life. Did a good job of them too, I thought. Actually,
I mean, yeah, and especially like the big boss machine towards the end of the movie. Like, I mean, it was literally like it was like huge, and then it like strutted around and everything. So,
no, you're right. John Bruno even enlisted some of the same effect artists who worked on Aliens and The Abyss to give the movie a gritty industrial realism. Unfortunately, studio interference and multiple rewrites diluted the original tone. The film went from a tense horror story to more of an action-driven sci-fi thriller. A change that didn't sit well with the cast, especially Jamie Lee Curtis. We'll discuss her thoughts here in just a minute. but it's pretty tough though. Casting character breakdown: Jamie Lee Curtis as Kelly Foster. Already a horror icon thanks to Halloween and The Fog, Jamie Lee Curtis is one of the biggest names attached to the virus. She later admitted in an interview that she considered this movie the worst she ever made, but fans have since developed a soft spot for her tough, capable performance. I can see why she thinks it's the worst she ever made. This was not a movie that really called my name very much. I did watch it, and parts of it, bits and pieces, I liked. And overall, if I was rating it overall, like out of 10, I mean, I might give it a 6.5 or a 7 at the most. I
Yeah,
just didn't think it was that.
I'm like stuck in between. Like you said, 8.5. I'll almost give it a 9, just because of the sci-fi aspect and like the visuals. I really like the visuals and like the touch on the horror aspect, especially when they were like when they were bringing the people back from the dead and then making them like almost like cyborgs. So
Right. They did a good job. They did a really good job of that for sure. Um, Donald Sutherland as Captain Robert Everton. I didn't like him from the get go. I've never been a huge Donald Sutherland fan. Let me just start by saying that. Okay, I didn't like him in movies like The Hunger Games. What's the movie with Rene Russo and Dustin Hoffman where the monkey gets loose?
no,
Donald Sutherland is like the general that's supposed to come in and take everything over and kill the monkey and stuff.
I can't even remember the name of it. That's crazy.
I know it. I can't believe I can't think of it, but I can see the movie plain as day in my head right now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
he's
the
also
one
known.
thing that I really liked Donald Sutherland in, it's a toss up between Space Cowboys and there was a movie that he did that was called The Puppet Master,
Yes,
and
Puppet Masters.
that
He's
was really good.
also known for MASH, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Do you think this movie has a body snatcher kind of feel? I mean, it did snatch some bodies to make some robot cyborgs out of.
mm-hmm.
Not quite
Mm-hmm.
the same principle as body snatchers, but still. He brought the gravitas to the film, though his character quickly descends into madness. He's not very likable as a character. Not much acting involved with him to it,
Yeah,
but it is what it is. William Baldwin, Billy Baldwin, whatever you want to call him, as Steve Baker, the Baldwin brother who starred in Backdraft, Flatliners, and Sliver, plays the ship's navigator and Kelly's love interest. You could tell from the get go they seem like they had some kind of chemistry going on together.
yeah.
And I don't think it was really ever. Did they ever say at any given point that they were actually a couple, or just hinted
It
to where
might
they
have
could
touched
be?
on it a little bit, but then it just kind of like fizzled out.
Yeah, I think
So,
they kind of hinted toward it. I don't think it was really a given that they were, but they kind of hinted toward them. Joanna Pakula as Nadia Vinogradova, a Polish actress known for Gorky Park and Tombstone. She plays the surviving Russian crew member who helps the salvage team understand what they are up against.
mhm. Which
That's,
which when they first meet her like on the ship, and literally she's ready to like gun them down because she's like,
yes,
she's telling them, you got to get off the ship, like right now we all got to get off the ship, and then that's when, and then I can't remember if it was the somebody snuck up behind her, and then I can't remember, like either disarmed her or knocked her out. it was one or the other.
And well, yeah, we'll get more to it in a minute. We'll touch
Yeah.
back on it again, but we will just go for the record. Yes, they did knock her out at that one point, though. They wanted to learn more from her, obviously, when she woke back up, so they didn't go that route again. But Joanna Pack, I just said Joanna Pacula. Duh. Did we say? Did we talk about William Baldwin and what he's played in before? Backdraft, Flatliners, and Sliver. Marshall Bell as Woods says you might recognize him as. Yeah, that's right. I knew I'd seen him somewhere before. You might recognize him as Quado's host in Total Recall or from Starship Troopers. Cliff.
He's been in other movies before, and he's got that real recognizable face. So.
Right. That's what I was saying when I was watching this the other day. There were several of them that I knew their faces, but they wasn't household names in movies or anything. Another one of those being Cliff Curtis is Hiko, a New Zealand actor who went on to appear in Training Day, Fear the Walking Dead, and Avatar. Now, can you think of anybody else? If you were thinking of anybody else playing the roles in this movie, the star roles we just mentioned, who would you put in their places? You don't have to do every character. Just pick a couple and throw something out there.
Let's see. I could definitely see possibly maybe even Bruce Willis actually being the captain instead of Donald Sutherland. I mean, he would have brought maybe a little bit more of a sterner, kind of role to it. But and then I don't know, who do you think could have replaced Jamie Lee Curtis, like Foster's character?
Well, they got it listed here that before Jamie Lee Curtis signed on, the studio reportedly approached Sigourney Weaver and Demi Moore. Sigourney Weaver turned it down because it was too much like Aliens.
Well, I could see Demi Moore pulling that character off.
I mean, you could. She could do a good job of that as well.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, Jamie Lee Curtis probably would have welcomed somebody else doing it.
Yeah, true.
The payday must not be very good for this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when it came out, like in '99, I think it had a lot of competition also. So it probably didn't do that great at the box office. So.
Well, male leads were considered of Kevin Bacon and Val Kilmer. They were floated before William Baldwin landed the part.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that shows that they actually auditioned for it or anything, but they were definitely wanted for the role. Now, you asked me earlier.
I could almost see that because Val Kilmer and the one woman that plays Nadia, they worked together in Tombstone.
You asked about box office earlier?
Yeah.
It reported a budget of $75 million, but only grossed around $30 million worldwide, making it a commercial flop.
That's what I kind of thought. I mean,
but still, though, I mean, it's released in January, a notorious month for what they call dump month for movie studios. Just dump whatever you got left out there that hasn't released yet, and let's hope for the best. It faced poor marketing and negative critical reviews. Many critics dismissed it as a generic Aliens clone, though its special effects definitely received some praise.
Which, I mean, that was the one thing that I liked about the movie was the visuals. I mean, story was good too. It's just, I don't know, it almost seemed like the way the cast might have approached this movie was that it was more just a payday,
right?
Than it was, if anything. So
that becomes a kind of reoccurring thing over the years in movies, like Peter Caine. Is that his name, Peter Caine, or no, Michael Caine? Michael Caine is notorious for saying that about Jaws 4. He says, "Well, it bought my condo." That's all he can say about it. It wasn't that he enjoyed being in it and playing the role. It's nope, it bought my condo.
And Michael Caine has done some excellent movies over the years. So.
Right. Let's see. I lost my place here. Over the years, however, Virus has gained a small cult following, particularly among sci-fi horror fans who appreciate its practical effects in the late '90s tech paranoia vibe. So
All right.
a few fun facts and trivia. Jamie Lee Curtis hated it, like we said earlier. She openly called Virus a piece of caca in interviews. A piece of caca. Though she has since laughed about it with fans at conventions. It's like saying you can make the bad movie, but you're always going to go back and and laugh about it later. And she's talking about at conventions. What she means is that she'll gladly take your money at the table and tell you a funny story of how she thinks it was a piece of caca and laugh with you about it.
Exactly.
That'll be 80. That'll be $80 or $100 for the meet and greet. You want a picture and autograph? That'll cost you a little more. But it's she can laugh about it at least. James Cameron's influence, director John Bruno was a longtime collaborator of Cameron's, and the film's design heavily mirrors The Abyss and Aliens in tone and lighting. I think you were talking about the similar to the Aliens thing, has a similar feel to wasn't Aliens. It was like what did you say earlier? Deep Rising.
Yeah. Well,
Event. No, it was Event Horizon. I think you said.
Yeah, Event Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But almost with that. If you didn't know that there was a hurricane going on outside the ship, you would think that they were in outer space.
Right. And practical effects galore. Nearly every robot and cyborg in the movie was a practical build. One massive creature called the Goliath weighed over 700 pounds and required a team of puppeteers to operate.
I can believe it too, because man, when that thing's like moving around, and especially when it's torturing Jamie Lee Curtis towards the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, because the head would move, the eyes would kind of focus, and then it would start talking, and then it was like, but okay, now what did you think about the part when it would get hurt or something, and it would sound like a pig getting like pulled around on the ground or something? It would start squealing. And stuff. I was like, that's just terrible. Terrible.
It squealed like a pig, boy. It squealed like a pig. Did that robot have a purty mouth? I don't think so.
Exactly.
Model miniatures, the exterior shots of the Russian ship were done using large-scale miniatures, something rarely done by 1999, as CGI had already taken over. And I kind of appreciate that. That look that they go to great lengths to make look nice over using CGI.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to like it. The comic connection, the original Virus comic, was much darker and more philosophical, focusing on humanity's reliance on technology and what happens when machines evolve beyond us.
We want to take us apart and put chips on our brains.
Yes, we're not having this. We are not having this. No, I do not think so. And then some of the things, watching the movie, I was like, it's not like the jump scare. It's kind of a creepy, kind of scary in there. And this movie has a large cult following too. I know we say this a lot about a lot of the movies. Like a lot of movies that have taken on the cult classic feel, make a ton of money on the back end. I don't know if this has made a lot of money or not, but it's found its own audience though on the video release and the streaming and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, and I just found out just recently that it's released on Blu-ray, so I might actually go pick up a copy if I can. Buy it on Amazon or something. So,
do you have a favorite part in this movie? I mean, any favorite scene or a favorite sequence?
The black guy, I'm trying to remember his name, but when but when he's kind of like almost gone just a little bit crazy, and he's like setting up that big bomb and everything, and he's all like, and
Sherman.
he's got a missile sitting in between grenades, and
That'll be Sherman Augustus.
yeah,
Played
man,
Ricky.
and he's rigging this thing up, and he's all like he's got all the strings attached, and then I want to say he's even got a remote to the explosive, and he's looking down, he's checking everything, he's all like, yeah, that's right, I got something for you,
So do you think Virus would have been more successful if it had stuck closer to the tone of the original comic?
Yes.
More darker feel and everything. With something like that, you want something a little bit darker, I think, and just more, not necessarily gory, but I mean, you want something that's, I don't want to say realistic, because I mean, you're talking, a ship taking over and making cybernetic people with body parts and robot pieces. But I mean,
But I mean, if you really think about it, what are we inside? We're just gears. I mean, our ligaments, they're like movable gears.
electrical
So
impulses coming from the brain.
yeah.
How do you think it compares to other late 90s sci-fi horror films like Event Horizon and The Sphere?
Mm, I don't know. Event Horizon had more of that kind of like you know hellish terror to it, and uh, and you said the spear.
Yeah, The Sphere. I'm trying to remember what The Sphere was.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember that movie, but I do know Event Horizon. Event Horizon was yeah, that was like that was like sci-fi terror, like 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 hellish terror. So I mean, but comparing Virus to that movie, there's really no comparison. Really, I mean, you really just have you have an energy force that's like trying to basically build itself a body, get off of a ship, and just basically destroy mankind because it considers basically a virus isn't what the computer is. It's calling us the virus. That
Right.
mankind is the virus.
Right. They
So
were communicating with it directly for, I guess, from like the mainframe area. And it's definitely calling us the virus. Whereas
yeah,
we consider it like an alien virus coming down from, above through the space shuttle thing down to the computers down there with them and everything. I thought they were all dead when it happened. I didn't
mhm.
realize that they were going to come back and find some still there. But um, this right here, I kind of like this question. I like this. Was the practical effects heavy approach in? Let me start over. Was the practical effects heavy approach an advantage, or did it make the movie feel outdated by 1999 CGI standard?
I like practical effects.
Me too. That's what I was going to say. In other words, basically, it's saying, do you prefer the practical effects, or did you want more CGI?
No,
More, yeah, the practical effects, definitely.
practical effects. Yep. I mean, even and literally the part that where CGI played into it the most was when the rocket launcher takes the Goliath off of its feet,
Mm-hmm.
and then it basically you see it rock back, and then you see it on its all four of its legs, and then that was CGI. But then when it goes back to the close up, it goes back to the puppeteers where it's like it's using its mechanical arms and then pulling up, and then it pulls the roof down on top of like Steven's character and the black guy's character. What is the black guy's name?
Richie.
Richie. Yeah, that's right.
Played by
So
Sherman.
basically, the Goliath picks itself up off the ground and then pulls the roof down on Richie and Steve. So, and then that's when you get a little bit of practical and CGI mix.
Why do you think the movie failed at the box office, but later developed such a cult guru fame?
It could have been. It could have been. It could have been just because of the bad reviews. I mean, critics really love to bash horror movies to begin with. I mean, most critics say that horror movies are just a waste of film or a waste of, a waste of scare, and trying to get teenagers into the theater to see like like another boob shot or something. I mean, but for this movie for people to actually realize later on that it actually is a good movie, and that's the reason why it does have that cult. I mean, it might have not a big, like you said, it might not have a big cult following, but
Right.
it's got a modest cult following. Just like because of I think it's because of all the other alien, uh, like the horror sci-fi movies like Alien and Event Horizon. So
And there's quite a bit of things in here. Now, it's not all trivia about the box office thing or anything, but the 1999 French video game developer Cryo Interactive Entertainment released Virus It Is Aware on the PlayStation. The action horror third-person shooter video game was loosely based on the movie. So,
they did a video game on it.
yeah, apparently so.
They franchising everything.
John Bruno is a visual effects artist. He was about to start the work on the visual effects for Titanic in '97 when the offer came through to direct his first feature. So, of course, he took that offer and ran with it. Can't blame him. Though.
So he did the visuals on Titanic.
He was about to start the visual effects when he was given the chance to do this one instead for directing his debut.
Yeah.
All right, 1 second here. In an IGN.com interview, Jamie Lee Curtis said the following about Virus. Rob Reiner, for his 40th birthday, had a bad show business party where everybody brought show business clips. Rob was playing a hippie on Go Ohio, basically. I don't remember him having a hippie on there. Wow, that is so pointless. You know what? Dismiss the entire thing I just read. That was just pointless when I looked at the rest of it on here. This movie was so bad you can't even get good trivia about it. You saw what I said about other people, possible.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when it comes to, we know Jamie Lee Curtis, who they say could replace her. Who would you replace Billy Baldwin with, if anybody?
Like you said, I know Val Kilmer was up for the role. I mean, he could have played Steve's part easy. So,
who was you? I'm sorry because I couldn't hear you that time. Who'd you say?
Val Kilmer. He could have played. Like you said, I know you said Val Kilmer was up for the role for
Right.
Steve.
Well, I think Val Kilmer. I think they had interest in Val Kilmer. I don't think he auditioned for it or anything, but he definitely had interest in it. They said. I mean, they showed interest in him in it. and bringing them in. So it doesn't say he turned them down, but he may have turned them down for something else. He had a lot going on during that time.
Yeah. Well, I think in '99 he had the Saint. I think he had just made that movie.
Probably made a better choice if they gave him a choice.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably the better choice. And then
Well,
I want to say Kevin Bacon. I remember you said they offered it to Val Kilmer and Kevin Bacon. I think Kevin Bacon did Hollow Man in '99. I think.
I know they didn't really offer them the roles. I think, like I said, they were considered for the roles,
Yeah.
but I don't think they were actually offered to them, though. I don't think they felt like they were right. Well, this movie here, honestly, Marty, there's not a lot to cover and talk about. We pretty much covered everything in the movie that there is to cover.
Yeah.
As far as interest, I'm hoping by keeping it short that the people will take, the what little bit of stuff we could dig up on it and realize that it makes it kind of a cool movie to go back and watch.
Yeah.
A lot of good ones in the '90s to pick up on, and this is I would say this is worth a watch, but it's definitely not on my favorites list.
It's definitely worth the watch. And I have actually seen this movie a couple of times. So and then the only reason why I recommended it was because I saw it on one of the channels when I was flipping around the TV one night, and then I just stopped and I started watching it, and I was like, "Oh, I remember this movie. This
I
movie's
couldn't
cool."
find it anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere to watch. Really, I had to become creepy McCreeperson and find it somewhere I probably shouldn't have. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble with my computer tonight. Who knows?
No. Virus.
Who knows?
You got to get rid of that virus.
Virus gave a virus. All right. In closing, well, let's not get here just yet. Before we go, social medias. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. If you like the movie today, or want to know more about the movie, of course, look it up and read some more about it. But if you like the way the movie sounds, let us know in one of the messages that we have up about it, or you can reach us directly on email at retrolifereview@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on this particular movie, and if you have a movie suggestion for us you'd like us to cover, then you can let us know there as well. We do have a website at www.retrolife4u, that's number 4 the letter u.com. You can listen to us in the browser, or you can watch the video in the show notes, providing I've got it uploaded to YouTube at the time. And speaking of the YouTubes, Marty, www.youtube.com/@RetroLifeForYou will take you to the Retro Life for You account on YouTube to watch all the videos and stuff we have there. So take a trip there, like us, follow us, click that little bell at the top in case we have something new come out. You'll see. You want to see us. You want to see just how goofy these guys look. You hear us out there. You hear us out there on the iTunes. You hear us at Spotify. You hear us at iHeartRadio and all kinds of places where you get your audio podcast at. But if you want to see just how goofy looking, or in some strange way, you might find us good looking. Who knows?
Who knows?
Our moms do. Our moms think we're good looking guys.
Right? Well, maybe yours.
Hi, Mama Beverly. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. That wraps up today's deep dive. I wouldn't call it a deep dive. That wraps up our dive into Virus, a film that may have infected the box office and my computer, but it definitely left its mark on the sci-fi horror genre. If you enjoyed this episode, Please don't forget to subscribe to Retro Life for You and share it with a fellow movie lover. We've got plenty more 80s and 90s classics coming your way and plenty to go back and listen to if you want to go listen to the old episodes. So until next time, stay clear of alien signals and remember, sometimes the real virus isn't out there in space. It's the one we build ourselves. Later, Marty.
Later, Chris.